Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. If you watched my latest podcast, you saw that I was going to do a separate acquisitions video because my UPS man was late. Normally he gets here about 1 o'clock, but wouldn't you know, when I recorded the podcast on that day, when I was waiting anxiously for the yarn so I could have it for recording, he was late and didn't get here until almost 4 o'clock. I decided it would be better to just go ahead and do a separate video so I could get my podcast edited and put out there in the time that I say that I will do it. So, which is weekly. I try to get it out there every Thursday. That is Thursday US. And I try to get it out there at least by the evening. And I decided I would make a separate podcast. So I covered yesterday that one of my plans is to knit, I'm doing a test knit for Amanda Roush, and it is the Elk Ridge sweater. I will include pictures of the things that I'm talking about up here so you can see what my plans are for this yarn. But I bought the Lettlopi from Ririko Yarns, is where all of this came from. It's over in Denmark. And I bought the Lettlopi in 3 colors. The suggested colorways were Acorn, which is a dark brown. I wound up getting chocolate, which is a little bit darker because I like a really deep, rich, dark chocolate brown. And I am very glad that I did that because it's just stunning. One of the background for the yoke was Milky Way, which is more of a, it's kind of a purpley blue. I don't know, it makes me think of maybe the inside of a oyster or something. It's kind of pearlescent. It's beautiful, but I thought that ash, which is a white with a little bit of black melange in it, you know, a little heathering, that I wanted that. And then I did get the black sheep, which is the suggested for the elk heads. So the 3 yarns that I chose, this is the chocolate brown, and you can see hanging off of it is the cuff for the first sleeve, because I've already cast on. Man, I cast this on last night, and oh, this yarn, the more I work with it, the softer I feel like it is. So here's the chocolate brown. Here's going to be the background for the yoke, and you can see some of the little heathering in there. So it's going to be those 2, and then this is going to be the elk heads, and it's called Black Sheep. So chocolate, ash, and black sheep. These are the ones that I'm going to use. Now I also got, because I wanted to see it, the Milky Way, which is what she used for her background of the yoke, and I think it would look fine. But I honestly would rather have a complete total sweater in this color, maybe a cabled sweater or some kind of textured sweater, even if it's not cables, because this is gorgeous. I really like this colorway, but I didn't really want it for these. I really think that this is more my style. So that's what I wound up with, and this will become the Elk Ridge sweater. I got some dropped yarn as well, and I got Nepal, and I think this is Ocean's Depth or something like that. I'll put the colorway down in the description. I'll link all of this stuff down there. But this is a 65% wool, 35% alpaca, and it is considered a DK weight. This is going to become the Nemo sweater. And I have my little notes right here because I did write them down. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. The Nemo sweater is designed by Cookie the Knitter. And it's a really pretty, kind of lightly textured sweater that's very classic. And I just think it will be beautiful in this color. And I did go out on Ravelry. You can do a little thing where you look at yarn ideas. I'll show you, I'll do a little video and I'll put it up here to show you how you find yarn ideas. It'll be on my phone, of course. So if it's on an iPad or a computer, it'll be a little bit different, but you'll be able to see how do you find yarn ideas and see what other people have knitted the project in. Because when I started looking, I was like, oh, Nepal just knitted up beautifully. So I decided to get a sweater quantity of that. And all of the things that I bought today are going to be made into some kind of sweater. So either it's a sweater quantity or it's part of a sweater, or in the case of the Milky Way right here, it was for me to see what I wanted it to be. So again, Nepal, which is for the Nemo sweater by Cookie the Knitter. Speaking of things that I wanted to just look at, feel, touch, play with, see what I felt about it, Plutolopi. This is wine red, and this is absolutely beautiful. It is so much softer than I expected it to be. And the only reason I wound up ordering this and even bothering to try it is my friend Lisa was knitting a sweater out of this in ash. So it looks like the color of the Lettlopi, but it was out of ash, and she was holding it double, and it was really soft. So I decided I needed to get some. I'm going to just do a swatch with it. I'll probably just do it single because that's how it comes off the plate. I did have it. There we go. It comes off the plate single. This is an unspun yarn. I'll probably just do it single to swatch and see how it feels. So I don't have any plans for this other than to see how it reacts. I might also try to pull from the middle and from the outside, or maybe I'll wind it up, you know, two separate ones. I don't know. Maybe I'll try some double, but I am going to swatch with it and play around with it and see if this is a yarn I'm interested in buying a sweater quantity's worth. If so, I did see where Ozark Knitting Company has brought this in. So if I do in fact decide that I want to knit with this, provided that they have the color, then I will wind up getting the yarn from there. But this is just a really beautiful, deep, dark red. And I am in my burgundy phase right now. I don't know why, but I am. So I've been buying a lot of burgundy yarns. Now next I have this beautiful BC Garn. I would call it Bio Balance, but I know I hear a lot of people over in Europe call it Bio Balance. But it would be Bio Balance here, at least in the South. But this is BC Garn, and it is Bio Balance, which is 55% organic wool and 45% pure organic cotton. The colorway is 24, but I believe it's called Berries. And this will become, bear with me on this pronunciation, Hashibami by Ririko. And I did try to figure out how to pronounce it before I got on here. So I did try to do some due diligence. I'm doing the best I can with my little Southern accent. But that's what that's going to become. It's another one of those where I found out the yarn ideas and I really liked how it knitted up. So I decided to get it in this beautiful purple color. Then next I have two things of Drops Air. I have two sweater quantities of this. Right now, and I'm going to tell you, I'm saying right now because plans can change after seeing this in person. Right now, the plan is for this beautiful deep dark purple to become an Isabell Kraemer sweater. And that Isabell Kraemer sweater is Fjolla. She knits it in Imyak lace, or maybe the linen. Anyway, it's a really fine. Or no, I'm lying to you. She holds it double, I think, because it is a sport weight, which is what this alpaca is. Right now, that's what I'm planning on making this into because I think it's just going to be stunning. But then, this, which I thought I would make into a Lento, and I forget who the designer is, and of course I didn't write it down because it's in a book. I'll put a little note up here. Whenever I post the picture of the Lento, I'll also post over here who the designer is. I was going to hold this, and this is still the plan. I'm going to hold this with some of the yarn that I got at the Yarn Crawl, which was the Lucia in that really pretty blue colorway. I'm using part of that Lucia to hold with some Sandus Garn Lena to do a, why did I just forget the name of that? It's like the most popular sweater, Ranunculus. There we go. And then I was going to use the rest of it and hold it with this and make a Lento. I may still do that, and I may just have to buy some more of this the next time it goes on sale in this colorway to do another, maybe another Fjolla if I really like the pattern, or another really pretty classic sport weight pattern like that. So these two have plans, Fjolla and a Lento. And then I only have two more. I have Drops Air. This is my favorite blown yarn. Now, I haven't tried Knit Picks. I think it's not a Loft. I forget the name of the Knit Picks one. I'll link it down. But there's a Knit Picks one, and then there's another one by Lovely Yarn that I hear is really, really nice. I haven't tried those, but I love the Drops Air, and I got, I forget how many, 3 or 4 of these, maybe 5, because I already had some from a different sweater that I did where I held this color with gray and made a sweater, and so I had some of this left over. I'd originally bought all of this the last time that I ordered it. I had bought it for this particular sweater already, which is the Liscannor sweater, Liscannor, so I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it right, by Samantha Xavier. It's a textured sweater, and I believe it calls for Drops Air. I think that's what she knitted it in. She did it in a really pretty gray, and there will be a picture up here. I wanted to do it in this color. Okay, this is one of those things where I know better, because I bought that last year, and then I buy this. There is a slight difference in the color. Not a ton, but what I already have is just a little less bright than this. That sweater, as you can see by the picture, it kind of, the texture's in bands. So I thought what I would do is I would do one texture pattern in this and then one texture pattern in the other one and one texture. That way at least it looks like it's planned that way. And if it does wind up striping, nobody will ever say anything about it because it looks like it was planned, which it would be planned at that point. Now, who knows, by the time I get there I may forget that I'm going to do that and may wind up with some color pulling or some difference in color and just live with it because it's my sweater, it's my knitting, and I can do what I want. But I love this. I love this color too. It's so pretty. It's called Peacock Blue. I really can speak today, although when I was out running my errands earlier and I was at the meat market buying some not steaks, but some pork tenderloins and stuff like that for dinner this week, I couldn't speak there either. I was trying to say something and I forgot the word. So I don't know. Maybe I'm tired, because I am tired. I went to bed late last night and had to get up early this morning. But I do really love this color. It's called Peacock. And then last but not least, this is Alpaca Silk. And this is in that colorway Cerise, which is that beautiful hot pink. I've got some Lima in it that I'm going to make the coffee run out of. But this is going to be for the color work part of the Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry. And in that pattern, she uses queen fiber, I think it is. Anyway, it's a really fluffy yarn up here. And somebody else in those yarn ideas had used alpaca silk, and it looked so nice. And this is just a more affordable option and more readily available for me to buy than the other fiber was. Not sure what color I'm going to hold this with. I'm going to try to stash dive to find the main color, but it will obviously have to complement this, and I do want a solid color. I won't use that kind of brownish color that she used in hers because I don't like that color and it doesn't look good on me. I probably won't use white, but maybe a really soft pink is the main color with this as the color work. I'm not decided yet, but that is in fact what this is going to become. And that is it. That is all of the acquisitions. My UPS guy brought me a really big box. There was more than just this in there. Letha bought some Drops Air as well, so she had a little acquisition in there, and it was just a really big box. It was a lot of fun unpacking yesterday. I took a picture of the box of yarn when I opened it, so I'll put that up here as well. It was a lot of fun. I know acquisitions aren't everybody's cup of tea, and people get upset over overconsumption and stuff like that, but For me, this is not overconsumption. This is planning, and it's a very specified plan because I'm not spending money on yarn after I retire. So I need to have everything before I retire so that I can knit for the rest of my life. And I plan on living for a very long time. I'm hoping that I will be as spry as Jackie at the yarn shop, who is turning, I believe her birthday is today, and I believe she's turning 94 is what we decided last night at the yarn shop. So Jackie, if you are watching, happy birthday, my dear. And she is such a lovely woman. Love you, Jackie, and I hope you have a fantastic day. And again, thank you very much for spending your time with me. It means a lot to me because you have lots of choices besides me. So thank you for choosing my channel. And a little housekeeping as usual. If you want to see more of me, like, subscribe, share, comment, etc. to help my channel out. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye.